Hello. Hello. Tu veux être à la caméra toi aussi, bébé? Qu'est-ce que tu vois? Comment ça, miaou? Et Tuna? Et Tuna? Non. Non, ouais. Non, 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 tu ne voles pas ma place. Ça c'est non. Bye, Scooty. Hi, guys. Yes, Pico is the cat. The cat of the day. Baby. Well, if Scout steals my chair, I can't paint. So, yeah, I tried making the audio a bit better than last week. When I was checking it last week, it was kind of low. So I fiddled around and tried to make it better. I think it should be better. I think it should be louder. If you could just let the cats run the show, I could. So, hi Otto and Josephina and Lee and Box of Paint and Mikey. How is everyone today? Hi Nitty. I'm on my laptop rather than my mobile and the sound is much better. Oh, awesome. Grabbing my mug of tea. I got so many drawings around that I'm kind of running out of place to just put things. Hi, Inky's Joy. I'm drinking the second brewing of Earl Grey cream. That's the name of the tea. It's Earl Grey with vanilla. And I have some vegan creamer in there that is sugar-free because for some obscure reason I really don't like my teas sweetened. I much prefer unsweetened tea. Hey Robin! Can I put this here? Is this a good place for the mug of tea? I think it should be. I have quite a few drawings that are ready to paint today. So I thought maybe I could show them to you and you help me choose which one I paint or which ones I paint. Just don't clean your brush in it. Yeah, that's a good point. Hi, Poodle Lover. I also have my super duper big eraser handy. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the Schmincke watercolors again today. Patricia! Hi! I think Scout is being crazy in the other room. As-tu des problèmes de chat? Cat hair being a mandatory part of any watercolor set. Hey, welcome back, Otto. Alright, so I'm gonna start rolling in the drawings and we can see which ones I would paint today. So I have this one. I also have this one. And this one. And finally I have these two as well. They are on the same sheet of paper, so. Hi Sophie! Adventure Cat is on a really long journey. First one, second one, or the combo. Second one. So that's the second one. Toss up between 1 and 3 here. That's not my chair, that's Mr. E's chair. I still get my super squeaky chair. The third one is not going to be taped. This one is just going to be loose paper. Because the thing is that these are taped because this is a sheet of Arches paper that I stretched first and let dry in my auto stretcher. And not related to Otto in the chat. But it's a type of stretcher I have that I wanted to see if I could like put the sheet to stretch in it, and then when the sheet is dry just remove it and cut it and then tape it down. And since the paper is stretched and dry, I was curious to see if I could like sort of pre-stretch the paper and then have it like so I can cut it smaller and attach it to any kind of hard surface. Darn, there is no I guess you guys sort of like all of them in a way. Well, just gonna start with number 1 because that's kind of easy. It's been inked with the Holbein inks. For this one I used a mix of black, blue and yellow. So it made sort of a mossy green. I can show the auto stretcher if you guys are curious about it. It's not assembled at the moment, but it's pretty neat. And if I can work it in this way, I think that's really a great advantage to it. I tried it once before with Moulin du Roi paper, and this is what I ended up with. If you compare to a sheet that hasn't been, this one I tried to make it like less wavy, but you can still see how this sheet that hasn't been stretched or taped down, it buckled in a way, and it didn't dry super duper flat. It's okay, like I can flatten it. I can put that in my scanner and it's gonna scan flat. But it's a bit like, you know, it's not flat if I just drop it there. But if you look at these two, even if when wet the paper expanded a bit, they dried really, really flat. Even if that's the paper I don't like. So, yeah. Experimenting. Yeah, this is the auto stretcher system. It's basically, you have this base of gator board, which is like a really sturdy kind of surface and really thick, but very lightweight. And then you have, on each side, you have sort of wood frames that you can use to hold the paper in place when it's been wet. And then you can let the paper dry on it. And what's fun with the auto stretcher is that it doesn't attach the paper to the stretcher. Like if you look at this other stretcher, this is the one from Ken Bromley. Like my sheet is really tightly attached to this, and it's gonna be awesome because this is never gonna buckle at all. But you're sort of stuck with the size of it. While with the auto stretcher, I can, if this works, I can cut my sheets once they are stretched and tape them down and work on different sizes. Also, one thing with the auto stretcher that I wasn't sure is that you have like the wooden thingies on the side, and they are raised a bit, and I am not used to working in watercolor on something that is not flat. So I don't know if I would like it. But yeah, I decided to try paper stretchers when I saw that, like I was looking at ways to stretch paper, and what I found was so like insane methods of stretching paper, like using glue and then, you know, the gum, the craft tape, and then stapling all of that. And I was like, nope. If that's the kind of length I have to go to get flat paper, I know I'm never gonna do that. Never, ever. So I got one stretcher as a Christmas gift, and the other one I eventually got myself, and that's where I'm at. I'm experimenting with them. So I am gonna start with Escoda brushes in size 6 and 10. I have the Schmincke set here. Whoop. Yeah, Nita Engel. She uses glue and then the tape, and then she staples everything together. And I was like, whoa, what? Nope. I had to use the bath for soaking the paper, yeah. That's a tiny bit too intense for me. Especially since I never really work super wet. You've seen me paint. It's mostly illustrations, and sometimes I make like a juicier wash or something, but it's really, really minor stuff. I'm gonna start by painting the sky in, I think. Otto is my awesome moderator and always on point with all the links. So if you hear me talk about something, just wait for a sec, and I'm pretty sure Otto will find the link and share it in the chat. So this paper is good old Arches paper. Super reliable, super good quality. I have a good stash of Arches. Now that I've figured out that it's probably my favorite paper, when I see sales, And if I have the budget for it, I try to get a few extra pads to make sure I don't run out. Or if they have a sudden increase, that has happened a lot in the last year. Like a lot of things over here, I don't know if it's the same elsewhere, but at least here in Canada, like a lot of supplies that I was used to have really gone up in price. Really gone up in price, like bad. Yes, Otto, you're the link queen. Ah, you're the link genie. Yeah, as an example, like Daniel Smith, the lowest price for a Daniel Smith tube was 12 Canadian dollars. Like Series 1, a 15 milliliters tube was around $12. And in the course of about a year, now I think they're like $15, $14, $15, something like that. And considering the starting price, that's a really big increase. Like, yikes, guys, what? So, I've been a bit bummed by that, and I'm sort of looking into other brands of paints that are perhaps a bit more affordable in my situation. Because really, I don't use my Daniel Smith colors all that much. Curry's has a sale on Arches now. I have to check it. Perhaps I already took advantage of that sale because I bought 5 pads from Curry's recently. Yeah, the last sale I got, I think it was on Curry's, because Curry's has the best base price for the Arches 9x12 cold press pads here in Canada that I've seen. Dessa has them at around $20, and I think Curry's is like $17 for 12 sheets of 9x12, 15 sheets? 15 sheets, I think. With the sale that Curry's had recently, the pads were like $14.44, which is great. So I bought a few. I am not sure what the new Daniel Smith starting price is. I think it's perhaps $14.99 instead of $11.99. I used to look at dessert.com. Yeah, that's the thing. Buxa Paint says, I'm scared of when Brexit happens, how expensive things are going to get. Yeah. And Graham is very well priced at Curry's now. I'll have to check it out. It's still kind of pricey, especially if you go up in series, but it's really good paint, so that sort of evens it out. Patricia, are you familiar with Wallachs? Yeah, that's what I remember from the Daniel Smith hike in price. It's something like 30% of the original price. And all that in a year, I mean, that's kind of very... And I mean, I don't know why, but in the moment I am right now, I don't have a particular attachment to Daniel Smith. They are really good paints, awesome quality, but they don't spark that much joy in me. A bit like Winsor Newton. Oh, Patricia, you have to check them out. Wallachs are an art supply store in Ontario, and they have pretty awesome things that I haven't seen in other stores. And they also have like awesome things like free shipping on $50 or more, and you know, that kind of interesting factors in purchasing somewhere. It's where I got all the Albine inks that I'm like enjoying an insane amount. These are waterproof, they are amazing. I can mix them, I can create colored line art, and I really have a great time with them. They have many Holbein products, like I got this matte medium also, and trying to think what else. They have really awesome like ceramic palettes and all kinds of stuff, and at really good prices. So since I know you're in Ontario, in Canada as well, I enable I'm going to be my enabler, and I encourage you to check it out. I live on the east coast of the US, and getting watercolors like Daniel Smith is hard. I have to order online for it. Poodle Lover, what is easy to find for you? Yes! Yes, Otto! Yes! If you need me to take the pom-poms out and cheer you into doing it, I will. I think painting on good cotton paper will really how can I say this? Like the fun of painting on good paper is really worth the price of good paper. Oh no, Patricia! Turning up the enabler power to 11. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really bummed that Daniel Smith paints are getting like this expensive. For the kind of work I do, I don't need. Anyway, like all I need is paint, so I can really go to the most affordable and fun to use professional paint. I'm gonna set this to dry a bit because it's pretty wet for now. And let's do a bit on this one. Hey Malvina! Oh, Core will always be the most expensive paint. I don't think they will ever... I mean, speaking of professional manufactured paint, not artisanal or really like special paints, but like regular paints, regular professional paints. I don't think anyone will ever be pricier than Core. At least Core paints are good, but yeah. Yikes. So this one has been inked with the brush pen instead of the Holbein inks. Well, I mean, Winsor & Newton Professional, it's fine. It's not exotic, if I can say that, but it's really fine. You know, you're gonna be able to paint nice things with it. Oh yeah, vegan brands, that's another thing that is not super easy to accommodate, unfortunately. What if Core came out with permaline colors? That would be expensive. Well, the most expensive ones are the cobalts and the cadmiums, and they already have those out. So, well, at least they have a cobalt teal. The thing is that I think the tubes of Core are not like not 15 milliliters. They're like 11 or something. if I was on a desert island and all I had was Winsor Newton professional paints, I would be happy. I much prefer that to nothing, you know. But considering we have so many choices, sorry. Oh really? Lee, paper by the roll. Do you stretch your paper before painting on it? I think for this one I'm gonna need a bit of help from this set. Oh, if you don't stretch your paper, Lee, I wonder if you're gonna appreciate the paper roll, because it stays curvy a lot. It keeps that roll. So I figured that if you wet the paper and stretch it, the fact that it's been rolled is not as much a problem. But if you don't, you you might be annoyed a bit by the the rolled paper. Hey, thank you so much, Hui. Poodle lover, Winsor Newton is really, really fine. Even if you don't have that many colors, even if, like, I will take a primary set of professional Winsor Newton over the full range of, say, Cotman. I mean, they are good paints. That's just, they're not fancy. I don't know how to say it. It's a bit like all the professional paints are good, but some are a bit more, what's the word I'm trying to find in my brain? It's a bit like some colors, some paints are a bit more magical to use. Like you get something a bit extra from them, like say some colors have really unique granulation, or they re-wet in a certain way, and generally Winsor Newton has nothing like that. So they're not bad paints, they're just exactly what you expect of professional paints. You know, it's like, I call them the good old reliable because that's to me that's really how they feel. They feel like something that works really, really well, but doesn't bring anything extra to the plate, except a really good basic performance. But all these paints have a really good basic performance. That's the point of having professional paints. I'm gonna use some extra space here because I want to make the sky color, and my palette is sort of a bit lacking in space at the moment. Yeah, a little je ne sais quoi, exactly. But I mean, they are good paints. I have a set of Winsor Newton, and I really like the colors I have in it. It's a you know, it's an odds and ends set, like some pans I got here and there, and they have some colors that I prefer the Winsor Newton version. That happens. But they also have some sort of basic colors that are a bit lackluster. Mostly like really hard to re-wet. Sap green and ultramarine blue in Winsor Newton are a pain in the ass to re-wet. Hey Dan! Hey Addie! Hey Ashley! Yeah, it's nap time for Peko. This is Schminke. What I am enjoying about this set of Schminke, well, overall, I think I really like the Schminke paints. I think that for me, they provide me with just the right balance of characteristics that I like. Like, there are some colors that are granulated, some colors that are not, so I can play with that. They are easy to re-wet. The colors are... I like a big, loud, strong color, because you can always dilute a color, but if a color is weak, and it's not supposed to be weak, you have to layer a bazillion layers, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I like that Schminke is strong colors and easy to re-wet. Sorry. Scratchy. Yeah, that's the Schminke set from my last video with 2 extra Schminke colors. This one is Helio Turquoise and Cobalt Teal. Schminke's paint behavior is really nice, I agree. It's a bit... the only thing that I find a bit bummer about their paints is that they use oxgall in them. And I'm like, well, okay, fine. But yeah, I like the fact that they are easy to re-wet. Even the colors that I struggle the most with, usually, like ultramarine blue. Oh, I like the teal. Are you kidding me? I often go on Jackson's just to look at the teal teal Schminke paints and be like, I have to save up to get that big tube, because it is one of my favorite colors. Well, I will answer more about why I like the Schminke set just after I'm done trying to make this wash not a big ass fail. Washes are really hard to do. This is one of the reasons why I switched to cotton paper, and I am never going back to painting on cellulose paper if I can help it, because washes, they don't come out nice on cellulose paper. It's really hard to make happen. While on cotton paper, it's much easier. Much, much easier. Hello Turquoise is a lovely color. Okay, so that needs to dry. I have 2 daylight light bulbs in lamps over here. It's the same setup I use for filming. I don't usually paint with the lights when I'm just painting for myself. I keep the blinds open and I try to paint with the daylight if I can, but it's not always possible. Hey Connor, hey Roy, Roy Albert. Okay, yeah, this I think I said most of it in the video I made this week about the Schminke 24 palette set, but I find that it has a lot of the colors I like to use, especially if I'm doing this series right now with the Adventure Cat. That's an orange cat. With Naples Yellow and Chrome Orange and Burnt Sienna, I can get all the colors I want for the orange coat of the cat. And sorry, I'm distracted because I just noticed that I forgot some lines there. Well, and I like that it has a real like strong magenta color and a cyan and yellow. And the only color that I'm a bit like meh about this set is the black, but it's still kind of practical if you want to paint a black cat. So yeah, that's the color I perhaps use less unless I'm painting a black cat. I don't use the Prussian blue a lot either, but it's nice. And it has like many of my favorite colors, like helioturquoise. Helioturquoise? Yeah. The greens are beautiful. Yeah. So far, the only thing I really noticed is that I could do with a dioxazine purple in this set. But that's a really minor tweak considering there are 24 colors in there. If you want to shop at the best prices for European brands, I recommend checking out how much they are on Jackson's. I know that for me, where I live right now, Winsor & Newton, Schminke, they're all much more affordable on Jackson's than locally. I think Schminke has a full pan set, but it's gonna be much pricier because it's twice the amount of paint. Well, Hui, if you are in Germany, you have access to the Schminke colors quite easily, you know? Oh, really? Winsor & Newton is no longer European. Is it? I think Cutman is made in China, but I thought that the professional range was still made in the UK. Oh yeah, exactly, Lee. I saw that and I'm like losing my mind over it. Like a lot of Canadian stores recently introduced Schminke, which I was so excited about until I saw the prices. $30 for a 15 milliliters tube. I'm like, nope. Especially since I know I can get them for, you know, a better price at Jackson's. I'm really sorry. I tried to buy locally if I can, but then again, I am not like a billionaire. I cannot afford to spend money on like $30 to like. I think Derwent is still made in the UK. Oh, well, if... yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, actually, I thought you said you were in Germany. I'm sorry, I probably just misread something. It's just weird because I bought... like, I saw the Paul Rubens paints that I think are made in China, and they are really, like, amazing. They look really, really good. But I also tried the PBO paints that were originally made in France and have moved production to China, and the quality really is not the same. So I think it's a bit hit and miss when they change the production side of a company, because if they have to change it, it means that they want to spend less. So if they want to spend less, how is that going to affect the quality of the paint? Yeah, the Rubens paints are really nice. I was really impressed with them as well. I haven't tried them myself, but when I saw Otto and Lindsay review them, I was like, this looks really nice. Like, it, good strong pigmentation, easy to re-wet, easy to work, nice colors. So yeah, I think it's just that it really depends on if a company is making moves to save money on production. That's never a good sign. I was so glad that the Rubens paints came out nice, because it's I mean, it's awesome. I've heard that some paper, also like cotton paper that you can get on places like AliExpress, is really good, but I haven't tried it. I cannot buy anything from AliExpress anymore, which is probably a good thing. Gonna switch to a smaller brush. Hey, Victor, it's been a while. Hi, Sakura Hime. I live. What's up, Victor? How have you been? Oh, thanks, Otto. Oh, it's just a rock with the carving on it. And I just thought it was funny that the carving is like the same expression that the adventure cat is making. If you read the comic that I work on with Mr. E, probably notice that we have a thing for rocks with big faces on them. It's hard to paint this area because there is quite a glare from the lamp. I thought the rock was sinted. Could be. Maybe it was at some point. I don't have a set story for these. I just sort of improvise and have fun with them. So what's everyone most accessible sort of professional paint range available? What's the thing, the professional paint that you have the easiest time finding where you live? Rock painting live stream. If I had a garden, I wouldn't mind painting rocks, but I really like rock au natural. Hey, Dawn. interesting. There's a lot more variety than I thought. I thought that possibly most people would have access to Winsor & Newton since they are so ubiquitous. Hey Lana, hi. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Hui, that you are Chinese and live in Germany. Germany has a lot of great paints. There's Schminke, of course, but you also have access to Kremer and all the pigments. Pigments. In Poland, it is not that easy to find. Well, yeah, but at the same time, you have Renaissance and now Roman Small paints that are pretty cool. Oh no, Sophie. Not a fan of Winsor & Newton, so I don't count them. Aww. Although I didn't know you were excited about the Van Gogh paints. Hold on, guys. Let me go spelunking under my table. Spelunk, spelunk. Spelunk, spelunk. Extreme spelunking. Oh, okay. I think I found what I'm looking for. Oh, I hope so. Yes. Table spelunking. Yeah, I really have to spelunk-a-dunk under my table because I store a bunch of stuff in there. Oh, trying to follow up. Did you know that Van Gogh has new sparkly prints and colors? Paints and colors. No, I did not. That's exciting. Are you wearing your helmet flashlight? No, I go by feel. Okay, sorry, I just like this Van Gogh? Or are we talking about a different kind of Van Gogh? I love the range of color they have. I mean, the fact that they have a color that's permanent yellow-green, that's basically like a light green. I mean, it's the kind of color I enjoy having for illustration. This is my box of odds and ends. Oh, hold on. I've got to show you. Look at this! This is like super duper antique Holbein rose madder tube. I'm gonna keep this one for as long as I can. I mean, it's empty, of course, but I inherited this one from my aunt, who was a painter. And I'm pretty sure she had that one for a while, or found it or whatever, but it's really old. It's like super old design. And it's also one of my favorite colors, if not my favorite Holbein colors. So it has a special place in my heart, this one. It was, I mean, before I emptied the tube, the paint was still perfectly good. Like, no matter that the tube was like, I don't know, 30 years old, older. Really still good, and I have it in my palettes and it works perfectly fine. Do you guys have any favorite gouache? I really like Holbein gouache. Yes, Sophie. I'm the same. If I see like a single something of paint in a store, it's hard not to buy it because I'm like, oh, come home, you poor stranded thing. I will give you a good place. Yeah, the paint was still perfectly fine. Like I could have opened a brand new tube of the same color and no difference. Well, Holbein gouache, I'm talking regular gouache. The acrylic gouache is good, but that's like acrylic paints. That's not like gouache. Well, if you want the Van Gogh paints to flow, you can add a bit of Oxgall in your water. Because Schminke paints flow because they have Oxgall in them. M-Gram is my favorite brand of gouache. They are really, really awesome, but they don't have that many. What can I say? I find that their gouache is like. How can I say this? Like a super serious painter, professional gouache. You can also almost use it as watercolor. It's like super pigmented, super intense, but for the kind of stuff I like, I enjoy having my weird pastel colors and having like all sorts of colors that are clearly convenience colors. But yeah, my second favorite gouache is M. Graham. It is really, really nice. But I think that the best supplies are the ones you have available to you and the ones that you use. So it's always fun to nerd about brands and that kind of stuff. But ultimately, whatever you have available to you is the best because that's the thing you can use. So. I've done watercolors with opaque white. Yeah, I saw that done. I noticed. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know who is that person. But yeah, I took a whole class that was basically about using online class. I mean, that was about using watercolors with white gouache to create that gouache feeling. The thing is that it works a whole lot better if you use freshly poured watercolors and gouache. So if I end up going that far, I might just as well use regular gouache since I kind of enjoyed that freshly squeezed as well, like orange juice. I am using more of this weird combo of cobalt, dark green, cobalt green, dark, deep, cobalt green, dark, and deep red. I mean, I'm painting in rocks, so that's a good place to use anything that has kind of fun granulation texture, right? I think it's whatever brand you click with. Yeah, that, well, I think that's the second layer of, like the second level of affinity with paint, is that when you start, you don't really know what you're gonna like. You have to start with something. And in that sense, it's not really worth it spending a lot of money on something that you are not, like, you don't know what you like. And I know that's super hard because, like, I have a whole stash of paints that will prove how hard it is to just get the right stuff. But ultimately, like, I'm blah blah blah. But say an example. Hey, the Joy Decision. Hi. Oh, hold on. A lot of questions have popped up. What do you think of the hybrid watercolor gouache paints, like Shinahan Pass? I haven't had a chance to use them a lot, but what I've used of them so far, I've really enjoyed. I like that you can go really like loud colors and brights, and something, you know, outrageous, like you would have with gouache. But these paints can also be diluted to create really strong colors, and you can layer them a bit like gouache. So I had a great time painting with these, but I haven't used them a lot. So that's my caveat. I like that they have all sorts of weird neon colors, and because, yeah, that's what I wanted to address, is the fact that I paint more for illustration. So I don't really mind. I am not like a purist in terms of colors. I need colors for illustrating something. So I don't mind that there are colors mixed in with white and some are neons or whatever. If anything, that's something that appeals to me more. But I repressed that a lot at the beginning because I was like, no, people keep saying that these are fake colors, these are not professional colors, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine, but I can paint with a set of 12 colors, you know, I'm able to, but do I enjoy it as much as when I can do something really loud and stupid with opera pink? Not exactly. What do you think about art classes? I'm thinking to join the college for one of them, but really nervous. How expensive is it? Would be my first consideration. And then it's really hard to say. I have nothing against art classes. Some of them are really handy, but I've also had classes that were really useless. So it's a bit difficult to say. And ultimately, nothing will beat being really, really determined and working really hard. When it comes to drawing and painting, it's not something you can learn like and put it in your memory and it's going to be there forever. You have to put in the hours of practice. So that's kind of where I'm at. If I've seen some people use classes as a way of saying after that, like, look, I have this distinction in art, and I'm like, that's pretty awesome, but at the same time, I've seen people land job and they never went to art school. They like to draw, they were drawing a lot, they were motivated, and that just happened, you know, so it's kind of hard to say. Did Dan not notice Pecco before? Yeah, that's the kitty cam. That's Pecco. Here. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, loud and stupid is perfect for me. That's what I love. That's what I enjoy doing. And anyway, I'm gonna scan these in, and they're never gonna be in a museum. You know, that's not... But it's sort of distracting. When I started, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, you know. So I try a bunch of stuff, and yeah, I tried brands because I was like, oh wow, this brand, I'm really obsessed with this thing right now, and ultimately, yeah, fine, whatever. Oh, if I only just noticed Beko. I don't know, Dan. How? Well, this cat does absolutely nothing. Yeah, she's sleeping. She's cute. Doesn't that count? Well, I think she's cute in any way. I got an F in art class because I drew manga with watercolors. Sadly, that's a really common thing. Liron's channel had convo about art school or not art school recently. Don't think there is one answer. Exactly. It depends on the school, depends on the teacher, depends on the person, depends on so many things that it's really hard to say. It helps if you have a really clear goal of what you want to learn in school too. Say you go to school to learn how to do art for video games, example. Well, if you really know you want that, then it will help you find classes that will be really instructive and helpful to you. But if you are not quite sure, it can be really a lot of trial and error to find something that works with you. I saw someone mentioning the Jane Davenport Brights palette. I made a video about it. It's really not a palette that, even if I like loud and bright colors, I don't really find that palette useful to me. But it's definitely not the worst paints I've tried either, so it really depends. If your approach is more like crafting and a fun, colorful palette, well, that could work for you. But if you are thinking more of professional use and practice, that might not be the best palette. Oh yeah, Otto is right. You need an environment that encourages you to make the art you want. For some, that is art school. For others, art school is the worst place. She's very cute. Thank you. I will tell her. Peko, t'es cute. I went to art school and all I got was the stupid emoji. Ah, that's excellent. I went to school for graphic design and cartoon animation. I am absolutely the worst kind of person to go to art school because one, I don't like being told what to do, and two, I like going against the grain. That's really interesting, Otto. When I was in art classes in high school, the teacher was really awesome because he was really like, it was about having fun with the stuff. Like, he would let us do anything. Would give us like a really vague theme and be like, see, there are the supplies and have fun. But that was high school. Like, it was basically just I don't know. Must have been a great job to land if you're a teacher. You just sit there and watch kids paint, just have fun. But yeah, it's kind of difficult. It's weird because I always have the feeling I don't know what I want, but I think that in many occasions I also know what I don't want, so I can be really, really headstrong in certain situations, or if something is really dumb and I think there's a better way to do it, I might just do that. It has happened in at least one class when I was in college. We had a class that the teacher basically had us said to us, your assignment is to draw a portrait of yourself, already blech, and you have to do it on an 18 by 24 inches sheet of something like newsprint or cartridge paper, whatever. And she also said you have to like draw a line in the middle of the sheet and make one half of your portrait where you draw with charcoal on the white of the paper, and on the other half of the sheet you cover the whole half with charcoal, and then you draw the other half of the portrait by removing some of the charcoal. And I remember thinking, like, what a freaking waste of time. It's gonna be incredibly messy. So I didn't do what the teacher. I just drew like a portrait, and on one side I sort of faked the fact that it would have been done on a darker basis. And I got a good grade for it, so I'm like, this is just stupid. This is really not relevant to what I want to do in life. Oh no, Victor! So yeah, teachers, it's a lot of hit and miss. And that doesn't even like breaches the topics of, you know, often artists have sort of like mental health issues. I mean, a lot of people have, not necessarily just artists, but it's you know, it's just as frequent in artists. But some people assume that that's the key to being a successful artist or whatever. But it can really prevents you from being able to be creative. So it's not something to neglect. Like if you are a creative person and you know it, and for some reason you're unable to be creative, there could be reasons for that that are not your fault and not within your control. Just saying. Oh. So you guys said that the cat is not doing anything, so she decided to wash herself. If she ends up washing her butt on camera, that's entirely your fault. Oh no, Victor. Yeah, artists are misunderstood, but necessarily in the way we would think, you know. I don't think she ended up washing her butt. I think she was washing her belly. And you couldn't see the cat butt in that angle. That's also really in character for me to paint just outside the lines, but whatever. One of my art teachers once said, repeated mistake becomes a style. And it has sort of stuck with us. Sometimes for laughs, and sometimes because it is true. So perhaps painting outside the lines is my repeated mistake. She did it very ladylike. That's good. Good job, Pico. She just very audibly sighed. And she buried her face in her paws, and she's adorable. Hey, Misha, hi! I got your letter, thank you so much. I'm really excited to try the sheet of paper, and I have some Holbein sizing medium that I can try also to experiment with. Like multi-sizing. I haven't played with this yet, and I think that could be really interesting to have a swatch of this on the paper and see how it reacts with the paint. Oops, sorry. Earthquake. After spelunking, now I'm causing earthquakes. So I'm not sure I like the layer of warm green I added to the foliage, but yeah, it's there, so let's try and deal with it. The multi-sizing, I think it's just a substance that you can use on absorbent paper to make them less absorbent. So if you have unsized cotton paper, it's going to be like a sponge, so it's not ideal for watercolor. You need a bit of sizing on there. So perhaps using my sizing medium, I can test out the paper Amicia sent me and see how it reacts to it. Table cave-in, oh gosh. Artists with mental illness can be good at art in spite of their illness, not because. We have unique ideas, but we shouldn't deny mental health. Yeah. There's always this like the tormented artist that was miserable, and if you notice something about these stories, they never end well for the artist, right? It's always like, and then they took their life, and you're like, that's not cool. Not cool. Not great, guys. Okay, I need to set this one aside for a bit. Is multi-sizing the same as lifting it? No idea. Hey, bye, Hui. Thank you so much for being there. Or they lose an ear, yeah. You know what I mean. It's never a good story when it's like, and then the artist took their life and they became popular after they died, and you're like, not goals. That's not my life goals, guys. Another signature move is that I always end up with not enough of a mixed color to cover the area I decide to paint with it. Also really recurrent problem. The other paintings are all on Arches paper. I think this one is also Arches because it's a sheet that Jacqueline sent me. I think, if I remember correctly, and it was Arches paper. I think it's like half of an 11 by 14, perhaps. Like all Arches all the time. That's me now. Where's cyan when I'm painting with loud neon green? Awesome. Lee. Should feel the disturbance in the force, I'm sure. Once I used cotton rag paper, I hate pulp paper now. Oh, I agree. It's really difficult also to paint on pulp paper because it's much harder to paint on it than cotton paper. Hey, Tsukabu, hi. I'm gonna need a cough drop, I think. Oh, I think I still have these awesome Japanese candies thingy that Otto sent me. Yes. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna cough up an airball. Well, what if cellulose is all you have? You gotta learn to work with it. But if you can switch to cotton paper, these ones. They work really good with the sore throat, so I kind of hoard them. Oh, yeah, that's the Victor. Yeah, it's like cinnamon, and there's definitely something like mint or menthol in there, which is why you send them to me, I think. I painted for so many years with whatever I could buy on no allowance, no money. Like when I was, before I had mental health issues, I was painting then too. Like when I was a kid. Well, I say kid because I'm old now, but you know, when I was 15, I was painting. And I would just buy whatever I could and make it work for me and just have fun doing it. But now that I can choose between many things, it's really interesting to try them and see if some of them are more suited to the way I like to work. Whoop. Did you test the bamboo paper? I don't think I have. Oh no. I love that we are now talking about farts in the in the chat. It's really in character for some reason. Clove drops. That sounds delicious. Hey, have a good night, nap. To Joy Decision, thank you so much for stopping by. That's pretty cool, Dawn. That's nice. Hey, lab accident. Hi. Oh, I have that. I have everything, not the... I have many things. I have the gum arabic paste. I got a bunch of thingies from Holbein some time ago. So, iridescent medium. Really need to shake the paste. I have the watercolor medium, the multi-sizing, and I think the last one is gum arabic medium. Hey Holbein, if you want to sponsor me, I'm good for it, right? Kidding. I mean, I would take it if I could, but I don't know what you use it for. That's the thing. From what I read, the gum arabic paste, it says when mixed with watercolors will result in an impasto effect. Mixed with watercolors on the palette. It's gum arabic, thickener, glycerin, and preservative. So I think it's to create like really thick. It keeps changing to Canadian dollars? Ha 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 ha! I hope they're hinting at something. Revenge of the Canadian currency. It deserves a revenge. I mean, it's so low. I think the main lady that works at Jackson's, like the lady with the Jackson's last name, I think her first name is Eve. Or Evie or something, so maybe. Ellie? I'm pretty sure it's Evie. But it could be Ellie, I mean. It's just me in disguise. Oh no! You saw through me! No! It could be my camera. It glitched it a tiny bit before I started streaming, but it should be fine technically. I had to fix that. Oh no, Tsukaboo, that's not cool. My sister gave me a watercolor book and that had a part on impasto watercolor. Looked a bit like colored glue. I think that's probably what it would look like. Gum arabic is technically a glue. You people constantly remind me of my friends at school. We're always goofy and never take anything seriously. I hope that's a good thing. No, that's hold on, let me check. That's like this cerulean blue tone, which is basically phthalo blue green shade. A bit of cerulean green dark, and then I picked up a bit of the mix of deep red and cerulean, not cerulean, cobalt green dark. What? So tiny bit of deep red, a bit of cobalt green dark, and some phthalo blue green shade. I don't. I think Prussian blue is one of my least indented color in this set. I don't know why. It just is. Like seriously, I think it's the most flat one that I have still, except perhaps one of the yellows. Thank you. I love mixing colors. I don't know if you can see, but the mix I did of the deep red and the cobalt green dark, there is, I don't know if it's going to show, but this is one of my test swatches, and it's like, this is the bad side of a cellulose sheet of paper that I use for test, and even on that it separated nicely, and on here it's really nice. Like on this rock, it looks like there's moss on it, which is really neat. I didn't disconnect anyone. Maybe it's a bug with from my side of things, everything seems to be working, but I don't know. Can you make your own paint from that mixture? It would sell, I think. That kind of dark blue-gray color? Blue-green-gray? Trying to think what kind of... which of the pigments I have here that would mix into this color. Because I don't have... I don't know if I... Well, first of all, I don't know if it would work, but I don't know if legally I could, say, buy the tubes of schminke, mix them, and sell the pans of the mix. I know that there's a lady on Etsy who sells Daniel Smith half pans. I have no idea just how legit or legal that is. Because what she does is basically just buying the paints and pouring them in pans and then selling that. I don't have any problem with it myself, but I just wonder if it's a legal possibility. Call it hand mixed paint. Oh, oh, we're onto something. That's true. Did you research it? Because that was kind of you were recreating things that I don't know. Because there is a transformation since you are mixing the paint and making a new color. So that's a thing, and I don't know if it's enough of a difference from that to the lady who just pours pan of Daniel Smith. Maybe now it's a problem because Daniel Smith is selling their own poured pans. Poured pans? Poured pans. Yeah, they did give the recipe. I'm just wondering how, like, would you have to be? I think you're safe, too, because that was really like a one-time thing and all of that. But say someone is making a business out of reselling paints. Do they have to be an official reseller? I don't know. I maybe I I unchecked the, because that's the thing you have to decide, like to allow or not people to send links, and I don't know if I might have reset it in some way or. Maybe you need like a trade license, but then every country has its own requirements, perhaps. I would have to check if the lady still has her Etsy shop of Daniel Smith bands. It's not like Etsy is super duper reliable for this kind of stuff. Like cracking down on bootlegs and let's get loud. Let's get loud. Sorry for your ears. I apologize. I am definitely not a singer. Hi, Robin's cat. Oops. Ah, so the lady is still selling her hand poured Daniel Smith paints. Lots of people resell on Etsy. Really? No, Amisha, that was perfectly fine, no problem. It's really kind of you to ask about it, though. I always try to send stuff out in a way that I hope people won't have to pay customs on them, because most of the time it's not. It's just annoying. I mean, I understand the concept of the customs and all of that, but then again, I'm a bit bummed when, I often get flagged on not the most expensive things, and you end up paying almost a greater fee in customs fee than the cost of the item you got, and it's just always like, well, meh. Do you get flagged on Jackson's packages? I haven't yet. I think it's a bit of a miracle because I've ordered a lot from Jackson's. But then again, I think Jackson's are really awesome in that they tend to know what to do to avoid being too noticeable at customs. The times I've been the most flags for like consistently is either from ordering at JetPens, and I was a bit surprised recently because I got a few things from them, like really not pricey things, and I wasn't flagged too, so I was like, oh wow, holy moly, miracle. But yeah, the most often when I get flagged at customs, it's the way some people in the US will send their packages. They fill the shipping form in a way that makes it for sure that it will be noticed at customs, and I will be slapped the handling fee and the taxes. The handling fee is the worst. It's like base $10. Customs fees is when you send something to another country, when it crosses the border of the arriving country. It can be, it has to go through the customs. And it has to be, sometimes it will just go straight through, but sometimes they will handpick at random some parcels or some that are flagged to be examined, and then you have to pay extra because there's a fee for handling the package, the person that will look at it and assess it and check at the value of the stuff in it and decides how much you have to pay for importing this thing in your country. What? Box of paint? No! Yeah, I'm gonna touch some wood. Always tick the gift box, yeah. Yeah, I know. Sometimes if I am sending things that are literally like gifts that I'm sending to someone, I will do two things. First of all, I will definitely check this is a gift box, because there's a kind of a small check plastic. Well, hold on. I had to grab a good pile of these recently because I ran out. So I have a small packet. Like the form. I don't know if you can see, but basically address, a bunch of stuff. Here is where you write what is in the package, the value. And here I can check gift, sample, documents. And if you check gift, usually it doesn't get snatched at customs, and you don't have to pay extra on it to the person who receives it. Because if you send a gift, it's much nicer so that the recipient doesn't have to pay extra to get their gift, So when I know that something I'm sending is going to be a gift, I check gift, and I will also put in a value that is not too high, because sometimes some parcels, they get snatched at customs because of the value declared, the declared value. So even if something is worth a lot of money, say, it's a gift. So I much prefer it get lost in the mail and I'm out of that money than having the recipient pay customs fees. I mean, it's a gift. Yes, that's another thing too. Yeah, that's true. If you are sending paper, like when I send prints, you can say that you're sending paper, and usually it's different when you send documents than when you send like objects. Yeah, that's true. Aw, bucks of paint. Your poor mom. There is no, I think there is no more mortifying mail experience than sending a real gift to someone and you hear back from them, hey, did you get the thing I sent you? And they're like, yeah, cool, I got it. And then you eventually learn that there was a customs fee on it and it was like a bazillion dollars. And you're like, no, the gift. It was a gift, how could you? This is so nice and opaque. That's unfortunately, I would say, why when I send out paint orders, I cannot do anything fancy. Because I have to make sure the envelope can fit in a 2 centimeter mail slot and that it stays super lightweight. Because otherwise the shipping fees are gonna be like extravagant, and I don't want to. Like, it's already a bummer to buy something and then you see the shipping fees and you're like, I understand. I am not making any money on the shipping fees. I'm basically putting in there what I have to pay. But yeah, it's still really annoying. So I have to make sure the envelope stays really thin and a certain size and a certain way. So I cannot put in fancy boxes or fancy packaging because that eats up on the space I have. So yeah, it's oh no. Box of Paint says, on a funny side, he sent my mom a muffin box and got a letter 3 months later saying that they were held under the Terrorism Act. Someone got a load of free treats. I think the US post offices have a lot of options that are pretty great. Like, I think there's a box that, regardless of what you put in it, the box costs a fixed amount to ship out. And I've seen it often. Like, people will have like a surprise box of art supplies for a fixed price, and they can offer something like free shipping in the US because they include the price of the box in the value of the items that are in the box. Say that this box costs $15 to ship regardless of what you put in it. We don't have that in Canada. Thinking is joy. Hey, just Abel, hi. Oh no, Alexandra. Oh no. Oh, that's such a bummer. Oh, I hate when that happens. Because you get something special, something that is custom made, and that's the thing, of course, that sort of disappears at customs, and you're like, why this thing? Of all the dumbass things I've ordered, why is this one the one that has to? I'm so sorry this happened. I have one of Otto's necklaces, and they are really pretty, so I'm even more bummed that happened to you on that specific item. So yeah, Abel, thank you for subscribing. I don't think I will have the opportunity of showing you guys this new technique that I remembered I could do. Ouch. That's, well, I think Belize is really far from China, isn't it? I don't know why, but there's always like a couple of countries that you see recurring in the notices about stuff that like we're shipping worldwide except this and this country. And it's usually something outside of the control of the company shipping stuff out, because it's like, well, in this specific country, we always have issues with the customs. They tend to, disappear many of the packages. So you're like, well, It's a new old technique. But I remember that I have the Derwent graphic line painter pens. So I realized that I could just use these to add tiny details onto stuff. Thing that is really hard to add with paint because you need like really precise paint and all of that, but it's fairly easy to add with those. So things like, you know, tiny flower dots, tiny leaves, the details on the pouch here, silver accents, the line on the pants, the line on the scarf, and I was like, So Caturday is about painting cats every Saturdays, basically. Yeah, sure. I will grab the pens, hold on. Yeah. Oops. I'm gonna have to... Whoop, whoop. Ah oui? Ah oui. Tu penses, toi? Tu penses? I should try galaxies and cats sometime. That could be fun. Yeah, one Saturday I did some swatching, but usually it's about cats, and so it's these. I know I have a couple of postcards in there, but I'm talking about these. So this one is like this, and you can just... It's a paint pen. This one is really nice and clean. I don't think these pens are perfect. Like, they have a real problem with getting messy. I can show you this. I love this color, but God, this pen is messy. The thing is that you can really easily pull out the nibs. So at some point, I guess the nib on this one just pulled out, and it made a huge mess of the of the tip, but it still works pretty great. And I just love them, even if they get super messy. And they work well over watercolor. They are water soluble, so you really have to use them at the end when you're done. So yeah, so this is the colors I have for now, but I will be getting more colors of these pens to detail watercolor, because for illustration I can detail and then scan, and I'm good. So yeah, that's... I just had a flash and I remembered that I have these and that I can work them with watercolors. Oh no, box of paint. So yeah, if you happen to see these pens and are curious about them, you can always grab, you can buy them open stock. So you can grab a color or two and just see if you find a use for them in detailing your own artwork. Because I think that's really, like I said, I was really, when I painted this one to test out the Moulin Roi paper, I wasn't super psyched with the result. I was like, ugh, it's a bit dull, it's a bit flat, and this paper and me, we don't get along, so I kind of want to add a bit more to it, but if I try to add it with watercolor, it's going to make a huge mess. So I use the pens, and I'm really happy. It's just the right amount of, refinement that I'm like, I can consider this sort of a finished illustration rather than just a sketchy thing. I will probably use the pens on this one as well, because for the grass and details and flowers and stuff, I think it's going to work fine. Hey, welcome back to Joy Decision. So yeah, I do a bunch of paintings like this because I'm mainly a self-taught artist when it comes to actually painting. So I feel like I have to put in the hours of practice and learn the trade so I can know what works and what doesn't work. And I can say that for this drawing, perhaps it would have been a better idea to not have the blue of the sky go under the orange of the cat, because these are like complementary colors. So it really doesn't pan out in a nice way. But it's, yeah. Like, one part of learning is making these mistakes, and the other part of learning is trying stuff to lessen them or make it work better. So this is just an opportunity to experiment and try things. In my book, anyway. Oh, New Zealand. I saw a segment recently. I think it was John Oliver, but he had a part of his segment on New Zealand and the fact that it's often not included on maps and all of that. Just like people forget to put New Zealand there. And this was brought on by a map that you can find at IKEA for $30 that doesn't have New Zealand on it. So yeah, that's pretty silly. And I was like, oh no, is this for real? And it is for real. It is an actual problem. And I'm like, I was so sorry. Oh, bye, Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by. Like Wakanda. Wait, Wakanda is a made-up place, isn't it? Okay, cool. I had a, a moment of panic there. Like, have I been living without this knowledge for like all my life? But I'm pretty sure Wakanda is. Perhaps in the... Okay, it's made up. Okay, cool. Whew. I'm not up to date on my superheroes movies. peekaboo. Oh, well, thanks for being there, Abel. And see you next time, maybe. Bye bye. How would Astrocat wash if Adventure Cat set up for the... You mean if he became an astronaut? He would need a like a space base, right? Yeah, if you want a country that is a lot of wide space, a wide empty space, Canada is a good one. Adventure Cat washing on space base. It would be like the Gravity movie, but without all the drama and the death. Just be a cat in space fixing things. That could be the next like chapter of Adventure Cats, because this one is kind of fantasy and yeah, fantasy. So if I finish this one, I could eventually make a new one and have that one be more about space. Or I could just create a different cat and a different adventure cat. Like Muppets in Space. Yeah, basically. did a hamster in space once, but that was for auto, because I drew jazz. Astronaut cat can join astronaut jazz. That would be so cute. They could meet up every Saturday and have a game of cards, or play some kind of Remember the classic Care Bears back in the day? They did the whole Star Trek spoof that was totally cute. I don't remember it, but I remember similar things from when I was much younger. Oh, 34 hours. Yikes. This is Canada, not Germany. 5 hours late on a via train is basically on time. Oh my gosh. Ouch. The first time I went to Toronto for the Toronto Comic and Arts Festival, we got stuck in the via train for like an extra 5 hours, yes, because there had been an incident on the rails, and kind of a grisly incident. But it's really not fun to be stuck in a train for an extra 4 to 5 hours. The blue is a mix of cobalt, green dark, and cerulean blue tone. So phthalo blue, green shade, and cobalt green dark. I didn't enjoy all my experiences with long distance train. I took the train when I was in Switzerland to go to Saint-Malo. It took 8 hours and we got stuck when we came back, and I really did not enjoy it. I mean, it didn't help that my friend was, like, I was not seated next to my friend for the whole duration of the 8 hours trip. And yeah, I don't know, I don't do good with doing nothing, so being stuck in a train or in a plane for really long times is something I struggle with. I find it really difficult. It's not exactly made so you can walk around and do things, and I don't know. It's a lot of time to be next to strangers too. I am not always super good with strangers. Ouch. And Misha, that sounds awful. I was on an Amtrak train that took 15 hours to go 150 miles. You know this thing where people ask you if you would rather have teleportation or flying? And basically, it's kind of funny because the answer is usually really relevant in terms of if a person enjoys the travel itself or enjoys being at the destination more. I'm a teleportation kind of person. Oh my god, ain't nobody got time for that. Oh yeah, absolutely no hesitation. Teleportation. Get me there so I can start doing things over there. The underground is hell on earth. I avoid it. Sorry. Ah, Stacy, no. I wouldn't want to fly in a storm. If you fly in a storm, you gotta make sure you have your raincoat. Yeah, I can't. When I went, I don't travel often, so I bring back Switzerland a lot because that's the only like big trip I did in the last 10 years. But when I went there, it was to get there. It was a single flight, so that was good. No need to change or anything like that. But it was still like 8 hours, and it was overnight for us. We left in the evening, I think, and I was like, "Oh, that's great. We're gonna be able to sleep in the plane." There is no way anyone manages to sleep in a plane. The noise of the thing. I mean, yeah, sure, they give you earplugs, but yeah, well, nope. It is so loud. I remember I was like, well, I'm kind of tired and there's not much to do because this is a long flight still. And yeah, and I could close my eyes, but there was no way I was ever going to be able to fall asleep with that noise. Like the engines on a train, not a train, but a plane. Good grief. And I know, I want to go to Japan real bad, and that's like the mother of all long plane rides, but I know. I'm saving up my plane patience for that trip. Oh no, Ben is right. The London metro is hell on earth. Is it any worse than the one in Paris? Because the Paris subway is also awful. It is awful. I would go to the UK if I could, but I am not that rich yet, or ever. If I had more money, I would travel more. But like Japan is the top thing on my list of places to visit eventually. I would love to go to the UK as well, of course, and Scotland. Duh. I am not a tropical, sunny places kind of person, on account of being a redhead and not enjoying the sun and the heat at all. Oh, worse than Paris metro? What? What? Ew. Okay, guys, that's really hell. Because the Paris subway, oh my gosh. What a nightmare. What a freaking nightmare. It was not my favorite part of traveling to Saint-Malo. Let's say that. That's true, although if I go to Japan, chances are you'll be on the plane with me. So that's going to be a whole lot, like a huge ass improvement. That's a really good idea, Lee. I was speaking with a friend last week, and she used to work in oh jeez, I'm not sure I have the English vocabulary for that, but she was a stewardess, a flight attendant. Yeah, I think flight attendant is the actual word for it, and quite some time ago. And she was basically telling me that Paris is kind of no longer the romantic destination for travel than it was before. It's pretty harsh now. It's pretty it's not a relaxing place. It's really stressful to travel over there because it's not super nice. Like, it's not nice is not exactly the word I want in English, but it's not a relaxing, fun vacation where you feel like you enjoy your time and you don't have to, struggle with something every single day. Let's just say that. Dan, why is Canada your destination to prepare for old age? Well, it's once you hit 25, that's it. Once you hit 25, your body starts breaking down. 25 is like peak humanity, and then slow decay of everything you used to know and love. And I say that in a really happy way. Like, you used to enjoy dairy? No more. You used to enjoy being super active? Well, nope. You used to enjoy eating all kinds of things? Forget that. Canada is a pretty chill place to visit, I think. I really like Quebec City personally. I know I grew up in Quebec, so might have a slight bias, but I've lived in Quebec City and Montreal so far, and other cities, but I was a kid, so that it's not exactly the same enjoyment and appreciation of it. But yeah, the thing I like about Quebec City is that the old Quebec City, is absolutely gorgeous. It is such a nice old town. Well, old town, you gotta keep in mind that this is North America. Nothing here is really all that old. But for our standard, it's really nice, and it's much nicer than the old city in Montreal, in my opinion. I still enjoy going to the old Quebec City every time I visit my family in Quebec. Because it's nice. The buildings are old. Again, for North America, they have this unique charm and charisma, and they are well preserved, and it's kind of touristy and fun. Also, I know the place, so I guess that helps. That I won't get lost or struggle with commuting or finding my way. Lee, that's really funny. Oh, if 40 is the best decade. More energy, friendships that have deepened, and on and on. Well, Awesome. Great. I'm definitely going that direction, so that's good to hear. I think it's nice because, well, for myself, it comes in two parts. First of all, I think I'm a sort of a slow development person. I am not a natural in many things, so I have to sort of process and assess and assimilate and understand. And finally, like 10 years later than anyone else, I'm reaching that point. But I've also heard that there's a lot of pressure on youth, like 20s, 30s, to sort of know what you want and do your thing and find a job and have a career. And all of that is falling apart, especially now. So I think that the older we get, the more we realize that this stuff doesn't apply anymore, and that what was super stressful to us in our 20s, it's not really relevant now. And there's kind of a jadedness, but a good jadedness that sort of grows, and it's sort of easier to figure out what one wants to do or what one likes, because you feel more free to say, like, well, this thing doesn't work for me, I don't like this, I would much prefer do this other thing that is not the one we hear about all the time. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm feeling much more at ease with kind of finding my thing now than I was like 10 years ago. I just turned 25 and I'm fairly sure I'm falling apart quickly by accident. I hope you had a good 24 first years of life. I'm kidding, but seriously, like I noticed after reaching 25 that things started like slowly degrading in my body, and I think that's normal, because I think like humanity's peak point of reproduction is 25, and there is no reason after that to keep our bodies in excellent shape, you know. So they just go like, well, screw this. Good luck finding old in New Zealand, though we do have the only living dinosaur. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Awesome cred. Yay, Victor, I agree. That's okay. I think my favorite part of this community is that we are all brought together by the stuff we love, and all the usual concepts of like age and no, you gotta hang out with these types of people, or this is weird, or you know, all that weird nonsense stuff is irrelevant, because we all like paint, we all like cats, we all laugh at the same silly things. And I think that's my favorite part of this, is that we get to hang out together over the things we love, and we get to each bring our own experience to the plate, so that we can really have interesting discussion that cover many aspects of the subjects. So that's what I really, really enjoy. You know, this thing that like people say, I wish I had known this before, I wish I had known this when I was younger. And thing is that when we were younger, I don't think we could have used that information as well as we can now, so that's not really the point. Yikes. Oh, well, you're fortunate, Nitty. Your dad, oh my god, your dad sounds so awesome. Painting is joy. Well, you know, it goes the other way around too. It's kind of interesting to think that there are people in chat that um, like have no recollection or awareness of what it was like when we were 13, you know. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting all in all. Is that a way of hinting toward like it's getting late and I should perhaps consider finishing the stream for today? Otto, can I read? Because I've sort of I'm still painting, guys. I'm still painting. But yeah, if you guys are tired, we can end this here and I can finish this later on. Pickle is still with us. She's still good. She's doing the really strenuous work of sleeping. That's really hardcore. Well, I think I'm gonna let this one dry and add the detailing after, because like I said, since I messed up a bit with the... I learned a lot today. I learned that if I'm painting an orange cat and I'm doing a blue sky, I really should be more careful to not let the blue go into the orange, or where the orange will be, because blue and orange is not super vibrant mix. And I think this one, whoops, this one still has a couple of things that I need to sort of tweak. Oh, it's okay, Otto. I'm kidding. You know me. I'm poking. I think I need a drink too, though, because I think my... Oh no, my tea is not finished. Hey, Dan, look, old cold tea. Mmm, yummy. Don't laugh. Sometimes sleep is challenging. Yeah. Oh, Tsukadu. Thank you so much for stopping by. Torturing Dan, always. It just cracks me up so bad because I always end up with cold tea. Like, no matter how hard I try to drinking while it's hot, inevitably I forget and then I have cold tea. And that's just funny. The blue under the orange makes me think there is a cloud in the sky. She's like, hey, that's a good take on it. Hey, thank you. That's cool. Yeah, all I could see is the mistake, but that's true. Maybe it can be something else. Maybe I should perhaps had a bit of a shadow in the grass. Sorry, I keep having hiccups. I do. Mug cozy. I think I need the, you know, the USB thing you can plug and that keeps the tea warm. I've tried using thermos cups for tea, but they get gross after a couple of washes, and I hate that you can't scrub them. Like, you cannot put your hand in there and scrub at the tea deposit, so you end up with the brown metal mug that always tastes of the same tea. Oh, that's so cool, making his joy. When it comes to tea, if you give a choice between tea and sweet tea, girl, I'll be grabbing extra sweet tea. That's fine. I'll grab the unsweetened one. and you can have all the sweet tea. We will not fight over tea, which is perfect. Oh, Dan, you missed me mentioning that I was finishing up my very cold old tea. I know you're such a fan of cold tea. Otto, did you end up trying the mountain herbs tea from Ronfeld? Scrub brushes for baby bottles are amazing for cleaning thermos mugs. I have one, but I can't remove all the stain, and it really annoys me. So I have a thermos mug, but it's only for water. This is my water only mug. End of the line. Oh no, of course. Sorry, I just realized the mountain herbs tea has mint in it. I was gonna say that it's a good one, but yeah, I think it has mint in it. It has chamomile and cinnamon too. You're the first person I hear of that has an allergy to mint. So it's really weird to add this perception on stuff that is so ubiquitous everywhere. Like I see things and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, this is refreshing, it has mint in... Oh wait, Oh yeah, but I like chai tea. And I'm gonna say that spices are also terrible for leaving a hint of taste in mugs. So it's basically, if you have a thermos mug, you have to drink the same tea in it all the time. And I don't really roll like that. I like variety in my tea. I'm the first person who I know who is allergic to that's the other weird thing. You used to be able to have it. So I'm like, again, this is sort of tying in with the being 25 and falling apart, but it's this weird notion of like, you just keep doing the thing you are used to doing, but you get a different response and you're like, how am I supposed to react to this? And yeah, of course, if your face falls off, that's pretty obvious that you gotta stop having the face falling inducing thing. That one at least is obvious, but I mean, for other thing, it's not always super easy to figure out. Like I learned about dairy the really hard way of feeling like poop, and I was like, you know what, nope, not interested in feeling awful. No, I can't stand it. I smell anything dairy and I really feel ill instantly. Like I don't feel, when you smell something that stinks and your face crunches up automatically, that's what happens when I smell dairy, especially freaking yogurt. Ugh. Yeah. Oh no, Lee, lavender allergy, that sounds really bad as well, because lavender is in everything. I am a calming influence? What? Well, wait, box of paint, isn't that Otto? Who went to Tiger and bought mints to make travel watercolor tins, but... wait. Allergic to ketchup, what? Well, that's a different thing. If it's the smell that's bothering you, that could be something a bit different than allergies. because there is a thing about the way everyone perceives tastes and smells. Like I get like that when I smell fresh tomatoes. I can't. They bother me so much. But I can eat ketchup fine. But yeah, if you get that reaction from smelling tomatoes, it's probably best smelling ketchup or having ketchup around. It's probably best not to eat it. Aww. Denture cleaner in your thermos pot. No, I haven't. What? Nettie, that's so extreme. My mother-in-law's boyfriend is allergic to mint. It makes his eyes bleed. And just a slight touch of something with mint in it gives him hives. Whoa! Hey, welcome back, Connor. Oh, it was a joke. Well, you know, I thought it could be something more than a joke because I know I can't stand the smell of raw tomatoes. Like if I they always have the avocado near the tomatoes in the grocery store, and whenever I pick up avocados, if they have like ripe tomatoes, I always want to run away from there. I cannot do with the smell of raw tomatoes. And I have friends who can't stand like bell peppers or cilantro. We got into this once, I think. I love ketchup. So you can have the sweet tea, and I'll take the unsweetened tea and the ketchup. Oh, whoa, lab accident. That is problematic. Can't touch cucumbers? Yikes. So I guess you don't work on the rolls that have cukes in them. No, Lee, no, no, no. That's like the nightmare situation. Lee says, I have a contact dermatitis with reaction to lavender. So when I started getting unexplained crazy eczema and cracking skin and hives all over, I started rubbing calming lavender skin cream on it. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh no. Oh. Oh, darn. I hurt just thinking about it. I think that like moisturizing cream are one of the worst things to be allergic to, because first of all, you most likely don't know you're allergic to it first. And when your skin starts itching or cracking or anything like that, the first reaction is to put more cream on it. And there's no way that ends well. I'm allergic to one of the cream. I think it's a Neutrogena cream. I don't remember, but I don't buy Neutrogena anyway. But we had some a long time ago, and I kept, getting itchy skin, so I put more cream on it. And when I broke into hives, I was like, oh no, the cream is the problem. And then you sort of have to take a long, scrubby shower, and it just hurts even more. I had to take, I think that was the fun time that I also I am allergic to penicillin, and I found out the hard way as well. I have a box of gloves for handling even the dishes that have had cucumbers in them. Oh wow. Victor says, my best friend is allergic to soy, chocolate, beans, nuts, and nickel. We have a questionnaire we go through for every restaurant we visit. Nickel as in perhaps the The utensils? A friend is allergic to aloe vera. Oh no. I keep making a mess. Guys! What is this nightmare thing going on? That's just not good. I've got three friends with latex allergies, and the doctors forgot to mention to all of them how far that goes. Really? Avocado, kiwi, things that don't seem related at all. They all have the same allergen that there is in latex. I'm allergic to codeine and amoxicillin. Ouch. Bananas and avocado, oh no. Well, especially if you're like vegan, you're gonna have a hard time finding stuff that does not have bananas and avocados in there. Is that leftover? Yeah, probably. They are all related to rubber plants. Oh, wow. Huh. The more you know. Wow. That's fascinating. I'm gonna have to try and patch that mess. This poor painting. That happens sometimes, you know, you paint one drawing and just plenty of things just don't pan out. This is a good example. This is a mess. Let's try and fix it. Probably just gonna mess it more because it's not dry and I don't feel like waiting for it to dry. I'm like, I want to fix this. Kind of stuff that reminds me of the one time my mom had a dress that she really, really loved, and she spilled some mustard on it. And mustard, oh, bye, lab accident. Thank you for being there. But lab accident, what? Mustard stains. So her dress was ruined because there was a big mustard stain on it. So she took out the dress, she put it on the counter, she took out the mustard, and she put mustard all over the dress. It was a floral print on a white backdrop, and the mustard was on the white, so she tried to repeat the mistake, like the stain all over her, and she washed the dress, removed the mustard, washed the dress, and it was fine again. Like, the stain was all over and part of the pattern now, so it always makes me laugh. Victor. I have a thing with adhesive on medical tape. It doesn't agree with my skin well. It gets super itchy. Well, okay, I'm gonna wait for this to dry before I try and fix it again. I think I will be able to fix it because this is like paper that can withstand some abuse. Which is definitely what is going on right now. And just quickly before leaving, because it's been 3 hours, that's quite some time. Just gonna try and implement a bit of these on, just because I think it would be fun. Oh yeah, yeah, these are, it's really subtle, like Derwent. What does it say? Line Painter 0.5, it says Jab and Nib, water-based pigment painter, shake well, depress for 2 seconds and wait. That's only when it doesn't flow, because if you do that now, it's gonna make a huge mess. Store horizontally, replace cap. Yeah, don't leave that without the cap on, it's gonna dry out. Hey, Bunny the cat. I see that Pico has evolved into a loaf form. I also call this the snail, or yeah, the snail or slug form, because she doesn't have any limbs and her ears are like, you know, the eyes of a snail. The Posca ones are acrylic, fairly sure. But yeah, the graphic, the ones by Derwent, the range is fairly limited. They don't have, you know, a huge range of colors. So I put in these Posca because I had them anyway. So I figured, well, I'm just gonna add them in my my box of detailing pens. Cool. Don't you guys hate it when you're drawing but then your cat comes along and ruins everything? I think that's part of the game. Poor kid. Oh no. I remember I came from school once. I saw my dog with my sketchbook in his mouth with all the pages torn to shreds on the floor. Oh, ouch. I'm really sorry that happened. Yikes. And you know, you can't really be angry at the dog either. I don't think the dog knew what was the significance of this specific book, you know. So it's sort of really frustrating to be this sad and angry and have no one to take it out on. It's my fingers now. Oh no, oh no. Oh yeah, I mean, crying is perfectly acceptable because you gotta let that frustration and all those feelings out. But, oops, sorry. The definition of anguish. Yes. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the tape so we can see just how well or not this setup worked. I mean, you can all see that the paper didn't buckle that much, so far I'm thinking that stretching the sheet of paper on the stretcher first, then, removing them and cutting them doesn't really affect or like messes up the paper. It's a bit bendy, but I think it's not completely dry yet, so. Overall, it stays much flatter than when I do this without stretching the paper, so I think that's a win, but it's not perfectly flat yet. I'm definitely gonna have to experiment more with this idea. I had signed this, but the signature is now completely covered in paint and we don't see it anymore. Oh yeah, signing with an Ultimo brush. Such dainty lines, such fine work. Okay, not exactly, but... Alright guys, well that's it for today, I think. I think my voice needs a rest. But there's this one, and then this mess here, and... Let me... There. You see, this one is, you know, much bendier. Like, of course, it was not taped down, but the issue I have with taping down paper that hasn't been stretched is that when you wet it, the area of the paper that is not stretched, is not taped down, will like expand and buckle a bit. And it's gonna dry down relatively flat, but still it's not gonna dry to the same flatness it was before you wet it. So when I tape paper that hasn't been stretched, I always end up with the line of tape that is untouched and the middle that has dried, but it's still not exactly flat. It has expanded a bit, you know. So I'm getting there. I'm getting to a method that I really enjoy. You can iron it. No, I am a chicken. I don't like handling hot things. I'm a real chicken with hot stuff. Like heat gun, glue gun. I don't know why. Ironing. Ugh. So, really awesome. Hold on. Let's do this. Hi! This is me. Salut! Salut, Pico. Bonjour. So, thank you very yawn. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today and hanging out with all of us, and also Pico, our cat cam cat. Boop 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 boop. No, stop bothering me, Mom. Mom, why are you bothering me? I want to say a huge thank you to all of you, and also a really, really special big thank you to Super Moderator Otto, who is always on point with the links and the info and everything. And if you haven't checked our channel yet, by all means, I encourage you to go check it out. If you like watercolor, you are gonna love her videos and her paintings. So again, if you feel like sending in like postcards and stuff, I have a PO box, so you can always use that to send in fun postcards, ugly postcards, all kinds of stuff. And I also have a Discord server, so if you want to hop on Discord, which is a bit like a chat room, and we chat about all kinds of stuff, from painting to pets to knitting to name it. And it's always in the same spirit of being friendly and pretty chill about stuff. So yeah, from Pico's butt, and we wish you a really awesome weekend, and we will see you all next Saturday. Bye bye. What's wrong with your toe? Pico. Yep, that's a good one.